Happy Patch Tuesday. This is a special recording of the IT and the D show, recording a day late, but that's all right. We got a special guest in the studio. Caston Thomas is in the house. We're going to be talking about all of the fun stuff that you on security that we just got off on WJR doing a home and home.
Our thrilling experience on AM radio.
Yeah, we'll be talking about that and talking about security and property security. You know what, Dave? You may fire when ready.
You're listening to the Podcast Detroit Network. Visit www.podcastdetroit.com for more information.
Following program is intended for mature audiences.
I'm Wyatt, that's Gary, you're Bob, and you're Dave. This is the IT and the D show.
This is Max Headroom. And what you're about to witness is one of the most sinister-sounding intros to a trailer to one of the greatest epics ever.
This is Billy D. Williams. Bob and Dave and I are enjoying a Colt 45 right now. And remember, IT in the D, it works every time.
Just where do you guys think you are?
The Library of Congress?
Detroit? Beyond the sun?
Any of those right?
Take him to Detroit. No, not Detroit. No, please. Anything but that. No.
You will never find the more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Then don't come. Shut up.
Hey guys, it's Time Hawk, Bruce Leroy from The Last Dragon. You're listening to the IT&D show.
Hi, this is Christy Swanson, and you're listening to the IT in the D show. And Bob and Dave touch my hoo-hoos.
This is Guilfoyle from Silicon Valley, and the only two guys I hate more than Dinesh are Bob and Dave. Suck it, guys.
What's up, everybody? This is Billy Zapka. Sweep the leg. Listening to IT in the D show. No mercy.
I may have to wipe the beat off.
Hi, this is David Kay, the voice of Professor Xavier. Storm, come here, Storm. Sit on my lap, Storm. You're listening to IT in the D.
Are we at a break yet?
Hey everybody, this is Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man. You're listening to IT in the D. And if you want to get your money's worth, stay right here. And remember, everybody's got a price for the $1 Million Man.
This is the Ladies' Man.
Hi, I'm Ernie Hudson, and you're listening to IT in the D. All you nerds out there.
Nerds.
What is a nerd?
Hi, this is Ogre. You listen to a bunch of nerds on the IT and the D? Nerds.
I'm a nerd, and I'm pretty proud of it.
Hey, Detroit, this is Anthony Michael Hall. You're listening to my buddies Bob and Dave on IT in the D.
Hi, it's Count Chocula, and you're listening to IT in the D. What the hell did I do?
Hey, what up? This is Jay Muse, and you're listening to the IT and D show. Snooch to the nooch. Listen, Muse, Snoogans.
This is Scott Steiner, Big Pump. The IT and the D show is your hookup. Holler if you hear me.
This is Robert Hayes, the Ted Striker to my mother. When I'm not hanging out at my gumbo bar, I'm listening to the IT and the D show. It's worse than Detroit.
Is there such thing as a meat hangover?
I love my Monday meat steak.
Hi, this is Jeremy London from Mallrats, and I'm just wondering, how did I go from Hot Floridian Sex with Brandy spinning to the IT and D show?
Hey, folks, this is WWE Hall of Famer Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and you're listening to the IT and the D show. Tough guy. Ho!
Dig, you IT geeks. This is Dre DeMatteo from Sons of Anarchy. You are listening to IT and the D.
Skeptical Dave is skeptical.
Hello, everybody. This is Ming Chen from AMC's Comic Book Man. I'm a techie. I'm a nerd, fellow podcaster. My favorite podcast is IT and the D.
Hi, this is Kelly LeBrock from Weird Science.
So,
Bob and Dave, what would you little maniacs like to do first?
The question isn't what are we going to do. The question is what aren't we going to do.
Ludicrous speed! Sir, and you better buckle up. Buckle this. Ludicrous speed! Go!
Going on? Thanks for hanging out. This is the one and only IT in the D show, broadcasting live here in Studio 3 in Podcast Detroit in beautiful Royal Oak, Michigan.
Because chaos, mayhem, it happens.
This is Bob the Sales Guy. That was Dave the Geek. Randy, I do the Twitters, is doing the Twitters. Find us online. Find us online, itinthed.com. Do us a favor, give us a like on the socials, and subscribe to us everywhere fine podcasts are sold.
Yeah, and so because I'm an idiot and I freely own it and I admit it, so the meetup for this month was not set up for the third Thursday. It was set up for the fourth Thursday. So it is not this Thursday. It is next Thursday, the 23rd. It will be at Detroit City Distillery. Come on out, hang. Should be a fun night. Love the venue. Love the liquor. It's a good time.
I'm not going to lie. It's becoming extremely difficult to book a venue in this town.
It is. And dude, we've talked about this for 2 years now. We're like, places that, we went for, 6, 7, 8 years when nobody cared about them and nobody went there. All of a sudden now they want.
Because
somebody booked a holiday party there,
right.
and now they think everybody's got $1,000 an hour.
It was Russell. They booked an Eminem video, and now they think they can get top dollar.
Yeah.
But I called it's a new retro bowling alley in Royal Oak that shall not be named that has bowl in the name. I want $200 an hour just to show up. No food, nothing.
Nah, I'm good. Thanks.
It's kind of hey, and I
mean, we can always just crash a joint, right?
Yeah. But I don't want to do that because then the people ask. The thing is, you need to have buy-in from the front desk because, hey, I'm here for IT in the day.
True.
Who?
What?
Yeah.
So I go, hey, there's going to be 30 to 50.
And flash mobs are so 2001. We don't do that.
They need to die. But no, I say this is the way it's set up. I go, we don't charge. Because here's the thing, I can understand with the venues when you charge hey, I'm going to use your venue.
$20 to walk in the door,
and then I charge you $20. Kiss my ass.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, hey, we don't charge cover. We don't take sponsors. There's no speakers. Everyone's on their own for food and whatever they want to order. We just need some place to hang out.
Yeah.
Okay, it'll be $200 an hour. For what?
Bye-bye.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you're so crowded on a random Thursday night that you can't use the additional business.
Then
smell you when the wind shifts.
But if you know someone that's a bar owner, literally that would want us,
reach out to us,
please.
We're glad to hear about it.
These phone calls, it's ridiculous.
We'll just keep doing all of our events at Whiskey in the Jar. It'll be that simple. We'll just be there every month.
We don't have. Do we have friends at Emperor anymore?
No.
No, Rusty's still there.
Rusty? Is it Rusty? Is he going to pork or Rust?
Rusty. Rusty.
I don't know. Maybe he is.
I still like that venue. I think
I still think it's
It's nobody plays pinball, but it's just cool to have them in the background.
Exactly. No, it's a fun spot. I'm sure we can find someplace. It's a thing.
So the big thing,
I mean, it's not anywhere convenient, but dude, that arcade place in Fraser would cut off their arm to have us come to that.
Yeah, and speaking of that, Major Magic is making a comeback.
They are. They're right around the corner from me.
Here's an interesting. I don't think I ever talked to you about this. When Major Magic said they were coming back. And I happened to pop them a note on Link or Facebook saying, hey, invested in a brewery in the past, didn't work out. I see you're coming back. Want to know what you're doing with it. Wanted to see if you wanted to maybe adult it.
Yeah.
Make Major Magics, for the nostalgia crowd.
I mean, Chuck E. Cheese serves beer. Yeah.
And he's like, what's your intention? It was really bizarre conversation. I wish I saved it or wish you could read it. And I'm like, I just want to talk to you. Maybe we could have a cup of coffee. Well, what do you want out of it? Well, how much you're looking to, I go, I don't know what it is yet or what it wants to be. And I can't really give you a business proposal when nothing's.
I'm not just sitting here on a bag of money looking to do something with, throw it in a furnace.
Here.
I've already done that once. That's why we don't own a brewery anymore.
Right. But then lo and behold, maybe 6 months ago, 4 months ago, he's like, hey, are you still interested in? And I'm like, ignore. You're such a weirdo. I want nothing. So now apparently it's opening in Chesterfield or something.
No, dude, it's right around the corner from me.
Oh, it's on Grossbeck?
It's 15 in Grossbeck. It's in. So do you remember there was the Taco Bell? There was the abandoned Taco Bell.
Yes, that I hate.
And then the other building.
So that should be a crime.
Yeah. So the other building was the old Riviera restaurant, and that's where
that was the Ram's Horn.
No, it's called Riviera.
No, but it was a long time ago.
I don't know.
Back in the old days. Back when I was
drunk.
Back
in the day.
Yeah, when I hung out on the east
side.
Back
when I was stumbling out of Chaplin's and went to get French toast. So that's, apparently I think they're opening in February, if I recall correctly. Not too long from now.
They're probably the thing is, it's probably going to be just a barcade, and he's got 6 of the stupid dolls, and he's going to set them up.
No, apparently it's so. Again, I'm just going off the articles I read and that kind of stuff because I was curious because I've heard you guys because it wasn't here when I was here, but I've heard you guys talk about it enough that I was curious.
It's on 15 and Gratiot next to the Star Theater.
Yes, and apparently everything that was in that old one was put into storage. and they have pulled everything out of storage and loaded
there
up the place.
There was nothing else except for like skee ball and like it smelled like it's like Jeepers. It smells like feet and piss. Like they should just call it that. Feetandpiss.com. Yeah.
Nice.
Stay for the pizza.
That's actually probably a website. I'm quite sure.
Smell the feet and piss. Stay for the pizza and the tokens. But hey, jumping in. Obviously today was Patch Tuesday. We're recording on Tuesday. If you haven't figured that out yet, today's Patch Tuesday. And if you're working in a data center tomorrow, it's going to be Patch Wednesday. Can we talk about the Windows 10 flaw for 10 seconds? Please?
Sure.
So,
1.
Yeah, I know, right?
2.
So this is to me this is interesting because the NSA came out with this, and the NSA hasn't done this in the past. The NSA has held things for themselves. So apparently there is a pretty wicked Windows 10 security patch. They just basically can expose users to surveillance, or I believe it's with authentication.
Yep.
But it's funny that back in the day they did not. They held it back. They used it
because
for themselves.
They wanted that access.
Right.
Yeah.
So, WannaCry and External Blue, basically NSA exploited those for years and didn't say shit. They developed hacking tools to exploit these holes. And then they gave them they were then found by Russian hacker groups called shadow brokers. Eternal Blue is still used to this day.
Well, and I think we all know that when we do something, fine, but when the Russians do it, no.
Bad.
No.
Bad. But apparently, no, this is even like at work, this is a big deal where it's all hands on deck first thing in the morning. Security teams, all the server teams. This is
roll them out.
Yeah.
Reboot.
So this is like all hands on deck. So yeah, if you're in the data center and, tomorrow should be fun.
Hey, I mean, Sam, broadcaster, just updated and added a new notepad function. So, I mean, that was pretty cool because that's something that everyone's been dying for. I'm just
to draw in mouse.
Yeah, no, to like add
Type
notes while you're because you don't have Notepad or WordPad or anything on the computer you're running it on.
You want it in your.
You need a notepad in the yeah.
Stupid.
I'm just
agreed.
Stupid.
Agreed.
Stupid. Speaking of that, there was I always think, I don't know why I think this is funny all the time, but they did Doodle for Google.
Yeah.
And you can, so here's the thing, I don't know why this is funny. So here's the thing at work. We have a thing at work called Brilliant Ideas, and people could submit a brilliant idea and it goes in front of a panel.
Okay.
And they either move forward with it, and it could be something really simple like, hey, we should do a dial by extension, not by name, or you know what I mean, or whatever.
Gotcha.
Or 5 extension, or spell by name. Anyway, the new hotness now is to do something completely the stupidest thing you could possibly think of, and to get the politest answer back. So now it's all about getting eyeballs. So now they have this thing, Doodle for Google.
Yeah.
And you have to enter a doodle, and then it might get used as a logo. And so I want to do a dick butt. So
what you want to, or you already have? Because I'm stunned if you haven't.
I haven't because I've been. To be honest, look at I'm in
make the butt cheeks the O's.
No. Oh! See, Randy, that's why I bring it up. I need better ideas. So there'll be a panel. There'll be someone on a panel at Google that is going to get a dick butt with butt cheeks as O's. And
that they have to go. Thank you for your submission.
But I don't like drawing the dick.
But
butt.
we've decided to go in another direction.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? It doesn't meet our community standards.
Right.
I have to get the nice little legalese. And I don't without the wiener too, because I just want the O's because of the. Because there's usually a wiener in the dick butt in the back part.
Just put little dots on the O's and make it booble.
You mean the dick part of dick butt?
Yes.
So just butt.
I want them eunuched. Yeah, I don't like drawing because we always. If you ever
that's not a eunuch. That's a castrato. That's
Toledo Comic Con. I don't know why it always makes me laugh.
Oh my god, this was amazing.
They had a whiteboard next to the hotel desk with
it was a dry erase board with markers. Like who thinks while a Comic-Con is going on and people are getting just falling down drunk, let's leave the markers on the whiteboard overnight.
So every time in the morning there'll be this giant dick butt that someone have to go erase it, and then I draw it again. I sort of
oh, I know you did.
I don't know. Seriously, I'm 46 years old, and I still go to friends' houses that have alphabets on their fridge, and I still have to spell out potty
fart
words.
and
exactly. I can't not pass those things by.
The inner 11-year-old game is strong.
Indeed. But Doodle for Google, if you haven't seen it, let's do a bunch of dick butt submissions.
I'm game.
All the artists
we'll
listening,
Tony
Tony Mello, Eric Gutierrez, you guys
bring it. We'll totally rally the troops.
So on a more serious note, the deepfake stuff just started, and they're kind of creepy. And there's other videos like when people doing impersonations and they kind of deepfake the face. And then we saw some other stuff with George Lucas.
I was going to say, I don't know that it's started. It's not that it just started. It just started getting a lot better.
Well, right, where it's like unnoticeable. Well, now Facebook announces it's going to ban deepfakes, but it won't ban
political ads, fake news, any of that stuff. Yeah, no,
like it'll let that. Yeah, well, whatever.
And how are they going to know that it's a deepfake?
The first thing I said was
because the whole point of deepfakes is that it's hard to tell.
Strengthen its policy towards misleading, manipulated videos, but like again. How do you know? It's like the Joe Rogan when they cut up the podcast and he was talking about gorillas being the ultimate, or monkeys being the greatest.
No, dude, that wasn't. They didn't cut it up. That was the AI that generated that.
I thought they'd like clipped his voice.
No, that was the AI that like listened to all of his episodes and then generated a new episode from that.
From all his clips. Yeah. Right. But how can you nope, it's fake.
And that was the thing, you couldn't tell it
Joe
was.
Rogan's voice. You're right. Yeah. There was an inflection was weird, but if you put some time into it, it would sound completely flawless.
Well, dude, that one with George Lucas reacting to the latest movie was...
His head looked a little weird. Like, you could tell something was wrong.
But if you're just sitting there listening to it and only half-ass watching it, it looked legit.
Or if you scroll down and Facebook puts the little window up in the corner where you just see 3 pixels of the video or whatever. But they won't pull down videos that are, the easy way edited, where if you just slow down the video a little bit to make it seem like a politician is slurring her speech or something. Yeah. They won't pull that down because that's not high tech enough of a video.
Well, I never forget, they do it with pictures. I'll never forget the picture. I went, Trump does enough dumb stuff on his own where you don't need to manipulate him doing dumb stuff.
Usually true.
And him and his wife and the Obamas were going to dinner or going into a thing, and Trump rushed front and opened the door for everyone and then walked in last.
Okay.
Well, the picture was, Trump walks walked in first and he's rude. He's not a gentleman. Well, then if you watch the video, he held the door open and then walked in last, and it's
it's out of context.
Well, by that point, it gets to BuzzFeed and it becomes a thing. And if you Google it now, you probably, Randy, if you Google it, you'll probably find it Trump doesn't open door for Obamas, and
I'm sure.
Well, so you're banning deepfakes, but you're not banning fake political ads. You're not banning propaganda bullshit. What do you draw? And who?
Again, and how do you, like I said, how are you going to figure out if they're fake or not?
It's it's Booger yelling at Revenge of the Nerds 2. And who determines the standards?
Well, so remember,
our democratically correct elected board.
Yeah. No, dude, remember, God, I think it was 2 years ago, we were talking about, okay, so it's easy enough to fake audio clips. What's it going to take to prove somebody actually said something? Oh, well, video. All right. Now that's not the answer anymore because you can deep fake video to make them say whatever the hell you want to say.
Well, we talked about that. We've been doing this for 6 years. Mm-hmm. We probably said every word humanly.
Dude, they did the AI off Rogan was 200 episodes, if I recall correctly.
Was it only 200?
Tonight's 330.
He goes for 6 hours an episode when he smokes.
Aardvark, esophagus, incandescent.
I was like, what are you doing?
Just throwing some extra words out there for the AI.
They would do
discombobulated.
David has a vocabulary of 4,000 words. Bob, 140.
We can make Bob say anything we want as long as it has to do with fart, poop,
yes,
Jaeger, and PBR.
So we like talking about the mighty the company's worth way too much money.
Dude,
Uber released their first ever safety report.
This is actually an updated version. So we talked about this 2 months ago when it was first released. So they've updated it.
So they're just plain text.
And they did. The numbers changed.
They're 3,045 sexual assaults and 9 murders in 2018.
Yes, and that includes
they admitted to.
Well, and that includes both passengers and drivers.
Right. There was 5,500 other incidents of groping, unwanted sexual touching in those 2 years. Basically, those attacks were. Then they have to throw this one out. Those attacks represented 0.302%, 0.0002% of the 1.3 billion rides they have facilitated last year.
And because I remember when we talked about it last time, they tried to make it sound like that number was statistically insignificant. Hey, you can tell I haven't been really drinking because I can say statistically insignificant.
Shoulder surgery.
It's shoulder surgery, judicial system. No, and so they put that out there, and then the New York subway system, transit authority came out and said, okay, our number's like a tenth of that. So, and we have, I think it was like they have, God, what was it? 20x the passengers, and their incident rate was 1/10 of that.
Here's the thing though. That's apples and oranges, because if you look at mass transit, you have 50 people in a subway car, and it's a 1-to-1 thing in an Uber.
Usually,
chances are different that you're not going to commit a crime when you have 49 people staring at you.
I can't remember if I told this story on the air or not. But so one of the show hosts here and I got into a rather interesting conversation where he got into an Uber one night after being in a bar, and I'm disclaimer, this is not me. Because it sounds like it could be me, but it is not me.
It's a friend of mine.
No, it's one of the shows here, and I can't even tell you who it was. But he got drunk, got in an Uber, and passed out. He is a gentleman of color. And so the driver, and he's looking back. So number one, the driver did not drive him home. The driver drove him to the police station that was less than a half mile from his house. And insisted the police come get him out. So he got dragged out of an Uber by 3 cops.
Uber backseat's my safe place.
It's supposed to be
when I'm poop faced.
And then, so the next morning, he's looking. Did the Uber driver racked up?
Did they put him in a drunk tank?
Yeah.
Oh shit!
And wouldn't let him walk home. The short, literally, it was less than a half a mile to his house.
Come on.
And
did he give him a 5-star rating?
No. So here's the best part. So the driver not only did that to him, but drove all over to Hellengone while he was passed out, jacking up the fare.
Oh shit!
So yeah, I mean it's one of those things.
It's not like it doesn't track you, and when you're sober tomorrow, you'll see it.
That's how he knew. And he wound up getting the ride fare refunded and that kind of shit. But I mean that's still, dude, that's an ugly set of circumstances.
But it's just
can you imagine? Yeah, can you imagine getting hauled out of an Uber by 3 cops because you passed out?
Dude, I done good.
Dude, exactly. This is what I'm supposed to do.
Right. That's the thing that always bothers me.
As opposed to, who is it? The police? Is it the police chief out there in Michigan that got busted for a DUI? And he's just getting probation. I mean, he was super drunk. I mean, he was literally more than 3 times the limit. But we're just gonna put him on probation. And he's still employed. He's still the police chief. He's still yeah.
We're a little lenient.
Yeah.
So this was an interesting one, and I remember we went nuts. What was it, 2 or 3 years ago at PenguinCon when they were implementing when they were doing.
They were
installing or implants for RFID implants in your hand.
Yes. And somebody was actually doing that at PenguinCon, and we were like, you are out of your effing mind.
A story came out on LinkedIn, basically the title of, would you let your boss chip you?
Well, and it seems like this accelerates every year, because there was one company in Wisconsin, if I recall correctly, that was doing this a year ago.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, but now apparently it's becoming more it's this is the new company ID badge, and I'm like,
so here's the thing: I'm in a secure building. I have an ID badge. I swipe it to get in. I can't walk in otherwise. There's glass little things, and they move. And then there's a security person behind the desk, and my face comes up on a screen, and then they greet me, "Good morning, Robert." Right? I don't what else do you want or need?
More to the point. Are you really going to have – dude, what's the average life expectancy at a job now? 3 years?
Yeah,
it depends what you're doing, but yeah.
So what? You're just going to wind up with scars everywhere from all the various is that going to be when you're – oh, yeah, so this is the scar from when I worked at Cisco. This is the scar from the Army. This is the one.
Well, then they're talking about they're doing it for off-site construction workers when they get on site. So they're going to have sensors, so you don't even have to badge in. So it's going to be a smart –
dude, and what's your exit interview like? Is it in an operating room to pull it out?
I don't know.
Hey, you're getting fired. We're going to cut you open.
Well, I remember 5 years ago, I was in Canada and my cousin's best friend was implementing an app for the snowplow industry. It put sensors around parking lots, and basically when the billing started as soon as the trucks pulled in, and they stopped billing, you know what I mean? And they would show their path and their trajectory, right? Good. That to me, fine. If you want to track drivers, you want to, they already do a GPS with UPS and all the FedEx and all that. But working on site. Like, could you imagine, like, oh, you're going off site to the Switch data center in Grand Rapids.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, we're going to track your every movement while you're in the data center, and when you get there, and when you leave.
Yeah.
Not just badging in, or we're not going to trust you that you, people are either going to, like, I don't know what they're going to do.
Well, and I'm sorry, but like one of the weirder stories that I thought came up was that Airbnb acquired a company that essentially let them now run an AI based on information other than what you give Airbnb, like looking up your job, your social profiles, all this other stuff, to determine whether or not you are a quote-unquote acceptable fit for the property that you were looking to acquire.
Is this China? This isn't China, is it, Danny?
I'm just saying, like, so, and it's they said they're according to them, they're trying to stem some of the issues they've had where, like, somebody rents an Airbnb, throws a party, destroys the house, or, sex workers, porn filming, that kind of stuff. I get it. It's still creepy as hell.
It's creepy as hell sleeping in someone's bed with their stank butt like the day before, and then you're going to stay there all weekend? Go to a Marriott.
I don't get it.
For crying out loud. We were going down to Florida with friends, and they wanted an Airbnb, and I go, A, I don't want to cook breakfast. B, I want to get coffee downstairs at like a coffee shop. I don't want to like have to like go to the grocery store.
Yeah.
C, I don't want to poop in someone else's stink butt toilet. Like it's no, for real. Like it's gross, and you're wondering if they got hidden cameras and.
See,
that's
always the thing I wonder about when it comes to people staying at Airbnb.
Everyone's got canaries and shit. They're what I mean?
Nest cams or whatever.
Yeah, that's right. And then all of a sudden now, and you can see it. They can see in the dark. So is there one over your bed?
Yeah.
If you're watching the dirty movie on Channel 12, he goes, "Are you the dirty movie next week?"
Right on Channel 11.
Right.
Yeah. So very Minority Report-ish. The story about Delta and their parallel reality.
I like this one.
Still very Minority Report-ish, because like we've talked about, like when
but you can use those powers for good.
You can,
right? Like, would you walk into a Kroger and they go, Jägermeister's on sale, Mr. Waltenspiel, aisle 8.
Right.
I'm like, wow, thanks. It's like the Facebook ads with my stupid T-shirts.
Right.
Like, I look at a Facebook ad and, like, unless it's a Wish ad, 9 times out of 10, I'm like, God damn it, I want it.
Right.
So Delta. So Dave's,
I keep wanting to send a note to the Wish team, just asking them if they're okay.
Did you see? I posted it on the football forum, and there was like a Wish thing, and I didn't even realize what was on the right of because it was like a pair of pants, and there was like a puff coming from the butthole. And I'm like, what in the world would that be? Is it like carbon filtered pants? But there was wiener lipsticks to the right of it. And
of course.
Yeah, they go, it's based on your search history, Bob. I'm like, no.
Nice.
Not even close.
No. But I go, what Dave's getting at, the parallel reality, it's basically there's going to be like one giant screen for your departing flights. And let's say like Caston's sitting next to me and I'm staring at it, and it's going to show me my flight, and it's going to show him his flight at the same time.
I got to see
and
this
I don't know
action.
how.
I got to see this in action.
Right, and I don't know how it's going to work.
Like I understand, like Minority Report, it was based on basically contact lenses they had in, but
right, they scan your iris and basically zap. Each individual gets a zap while you're walking through.
We'll see.
And they think it's 10, 20 years away, but it's like literally they're POCing it right now.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the big deal is. All I got to do is go like Denver, Detroit, 1040, Gate A, 42. It's not that hard.
Is this a problem for which we need an additional solution?
Right.
I guess
I want to figure out that I could bring my bottle of water in. That's what I want to figure out.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Is it is my 4-ounce bottle of shampoo going to get thrown away? Or so speaking of throwaways, and I do love this. Apparently, there's a database sitting on a Chinese IP address with the details of 56 million Americans just hanging out. Publicly open and accessible, thanks to a website called checkpeople.com is apparently where it was pilfered from.
I love the
response.
No, the subtext of the headline. If Czech people could take a look at this, that would be great.
That would be great. Yeah. So apparently it's names, addresses, employment, all good times. Thanks for that. However that happened. That's
names
amazing.
of relatives, criminal records, and basically they just skimmed public records.
Yeah, good
and
times.
They put it in a database, and a white hat hacker. They had to found it. They had to list that out.
Hey, that's why I said it's not the individual breaches you have to worry about. It's the people that are out there aggregating this crap.
And it was personal data and metadata. Yeah, they were all scraped and it's just sitting out there. And yeah.
Nice.
At this point, it's funny because we were talking about like 23andMe and all that crap at work. And the guy goes, I don't do that crap. I go, man, I go to activity.google.com. He goes, I delete that stuff. I go, oh, yeah, that's because it's gone. You know, and he's
right.
like,
yeah, and Snapchat actually deletes the pictures.
Right,
yeah.
right. You know. But it is a sad day, though. And I didn't realize how many people, like, you know, when they forced Windows 10 on everybody, like Windows 7 was a good OS. There wasn't really many bad Microsoft OSs. You know, change, I hate it. But apparently,
I always like the Big Bang Theory Sheldon when he was like when Windows 8 came out and he was like Windows 8 it's so much more user friendly than Windows 7. I don't like it.
But apparently, Microsoft's dropping support of 7
today,
and
yeah, they're not going to. As of today, it is end of life.
26% of all PCs. 26. That number blew my mind right now because
as we sat in WJR on Saturday looking at the Windows XP screen.
As they were making
oh my god.
As they were making fun of Windows XP, they were making fun of it and I go, that screen right there on this Dell CRT monitor.
Oh my god.
But no, because they were forcing 10 upgrades.
Yep.
So like Windows 7, 26%. Think about that. 1 in 4 PCs.
Yeah.
That's a
nuts.
lot.
That's insane. But it's one of the things. It's again, if it's functioning and it works, cool.
And you can still get Windows 10 if you want. If you're still running Windows 7 or Windows 8, you can still get Windows 10. They stopped pushing it for free, but they're still supporting it. So go download the media creation tool from the Microsoft website, run it, and then check the activation, and it'll use your 8 or 7 key to activate the Windows 10 version.
Yep.
Cool. Well, hey, we're going to take. Speaking of. I got nothing. I was going to use a bad
Speaking of activating,
right, that doesn't make sense either.
I don't know.
Speaking
Thundercats.
of, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to be back with Caston Thomas. We're going to be talking about being on WJR this weekend and a bunch of other stuff. This is the IT in the D show.
They'll be
IT in the D. Read, meet, listen. Networking Detroit. One beer at a time.
Hey guys, it's Time Hawk, Bruce Leroy from The Last Dragon. You're listening to the IT&D show.
ITinthed.com.
Hey, welcome back. Segment 2, episode 330 of the IT and the D show, broadcasting live here. Studio 3, Podcast Detroit in beautiful Royal Oak, Michigan. Bob, the sales guy. Dave, the geek. Randy, I do the Twitters, is doing the Twitters. Find us online, itandthed.com. You want to know why? Because we are IT and the D.
And you're still not, but we still love you. And as a reminder, again, I am a moron, and I scheduled the event for next Thursday, not this Thursday. My apologies. We'll have that fixed moving forward in future months. But hey, Capital One knows life doesn't alert you about your credit card. That's why they created Eno, the Capital One assistant. It catches things that might look wrong with your credit card, like over-tipping, duplicate charges, or potential fraud, then sends an alert to your phone and helps you fix it. It's another way Capital One is watching out for your money when you're not. Capital One, what's in your wallet? See CapitalOne.com for details. That's CapitalOne.com.
But hey, we are very, very lucky to be joined by the illustrious one, the one and only, the 13th time on the IT and the D show.
Lucky 13.
I wanted to do like a Ric Flair thing, like the 16-time world champion. But hey, Caston Thomas, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Glad to be here.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I feel like we haven't seen you in days.
A month. Matter of fact.
Well, no, we haven't been on JR. It feels like a couple years. But
wasn't that long.
I thought it was since the last time we were on. I don't know.
Because it was about a year ago.
I've been co-hosting for 2.5 years, and this is the first time I've been in the studio with you.
That's what I thought.
We were on once with Jeff, and we were on once with Nuri. Yeah,
and now
this.
Yeah. I know. Caston's on 13 times here. We're on 3 times on JR.
It's probably for the best. Let's be honest.
No, you guys are great.
No, but so like, we always like talking about the differences between podcasting and radio, and you kind of cut your teeth, guesting here, talking about security and all that stuff.
You made it all possible, guys.
Yeah, whatever. That's
in fact.
Wait, is that jazz music I hear?
Yeah, exactly. Hey, we're gonna take a quick break. We'll be back with a quick word from plumberswithaz.com
in the Guy Gordon studio.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to say, I'm so kicking myself for not saying that. And like, Yeah, really proud to be here in the Guy Gordon studios.
No, we might have to do the 7-second button on that one. You just don't mess with the host in
See, here's
radio.
the thing. You didn't even introduce me yet, and I'm already ragging on you because you're talking about like a microwave with like a clipboard screen on it. And I'm like,
yeah, we need to have a conversation about that. By the way, I
why?
didn't go into the long explanation because we only had 7 minutes on that segment to get real content.
Because you need recipes for craft dinner in a microwave.
No, that's not it. I'll talk to you after this show.
That's fine. Riveting. I can't wait to hear more about the microwave with a clipboard on it. This is yay CES.
Now, hang on. Let me hijack this for just a minute. And I told you I was going to do it, but, our last time together was with Foster coming in, and that was a must-listen show because it was intense, it was beautiful, and yet it was still having a little of that irreverence that you guys have and fun. But I'd like to just stop for a moment and say thank you. I mean, not just for me, but for everybody who's listening. The impact that IT and the D and you, Bob and Dave, have had on the IT community, on Detroit, and on all your listeners. I mean, there are guys out in some remote desert listening to this show, looking at the beautiful stars because they're 100 or 1,000 miles away from any city lights, and you bring sanity into an insane world. Or wait, did I mean insanity?
I was like, I don't know that that's accurate. I don't. Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
There's just something that you bring to people's lives every week. And I enjoy the show, and I know thousands, if not tens or hundreds of thousands of people really appreciate the work you do.
Thanks, man.
I'll slip you the 100.
No,
right?
No slipping me anything, please.
Well, I mean, here's the thing: if we're gonna butter each other's bread, I mean, I know you've only been a part of Internet Advisor now for a couple of years, but you guys are celebrating your 23rd anniversary now. You think about, and there's still like a couple people that have been on since day one, talking about.
Yeah, Gary Baker's been on since day one,
talking about technology for 23 years. That's as long as I've been in IT.
That was before XP.
That was before.
Think about it. It's Windows 90. That's 1997. So you're still in the Windows 95 brother printer era.
Yeah. And,
hold on. To elaborate what Dave just said, that's one of our favorite. So the Internet Advisor Show, it's a 2-hour show on WJR every Saturday.
1 hour now.
It's a 1 hour now, but it used to be a 2-hour show. Yep. And the first hour was talking about kind of like what we do, talking about going through the news. Second hour was taking calls, and it was fixing people's stuff. Yep. And they had the patience of saints. It was the most amazing show of restraint and helpfulness.
You could have Googled that,
No,
every answer was, let me Google that for you. Yeah.
Throw it out.
That was the guy, the old, my brother printer will not talk to Windows 90. Okay, printers are $50. Throw it away. Buy a new one.
Bob, no, we got to fix this.
Yeah, Bob, no, that's not a correct answer.
Well, I started saying, and Foster loved this, I'd say, we're always smarter after the break.
Right.
Well, we'll hold on just a minute. We'll get back to you after the break, and then we had all the answers.
Yeah, exactly.
So just go out and Google it.
IT guys don't know everything. We just know how to Google really, really well.
That was one of the best memes with that stuffed animal, like it's like a chimpanzee, and it was like doctors, like you can't go to WebMD.
WebMD doesn't.
Web programmers are like, oh shit.
But 2 weeks ago, my mom calls me after every show and gives me her critique, and one time,
you sound
about
like
a year
shit,
ago,
Caston.
Oh no! You know what? My mother is like stepping back into Leave It to Beaver. She's that 1950s Southern Belle mother who, I go down to Atlanta and we go into a store and she goes, "I raised you better than that," and I'm like, "Oops, sorry," and I take my hat off.
Oh, jeez!
Right.
Wow!
That's why I turned.
And suddenly I'm 13 again. Thanks. Yeah. Sorry, Mom.
So
sorry.
So my mother calls me and she goes, "You're not going out drinking with those nice boys, are you?"
No, Mom.
I said, "No, Mom. Connie and I are going out ourselves." They went home.
I brought a flask, Ma. No, but you kind of dropped something on me. Like that show is heard, you said, what, 28 states?
38 states.
38
after
states.
the sun goes down.
And Canada.
And all provinces in Canada.
Kazakhstan,
provinces.
Because
at sundown, many stations shut down, so that's why the 760 band is clear channel across the nation.
And I always thought it was
crazy.
fascinating hearing it because we went to Cleveland and you could or we would go to Cedar Point like that. Like I always for some reason, I still have that. Like when we used to go up north, and the first station you'd pick up was JR.
We had the president of Kettering University on, and he goes, "It's really great to be here in the JR studios." He said, "When I was 12 years old, I erected a 20-foot antenna. I lived about 10 miles outside of Orlando, and I would listen to JR at night."
Oh my God.
So that's crazy.
And another guy came on. He goes, "My father's so excited that I'm on the show because he remembers driving to Iowa with me, and we drove all the way to Iowa and listened to JR the whole time."
That's what we always talk about, listening to Ernie Harwell. I probably heard Ernie Harwell speak to me more than my own father.
Wow.
Like, no, if you think about it, if you grew up in this town and you liked baseball,
yeah,
like you'd listen to him 162 times for what, 2.5 hours a pop.
Yep.
Do the math. Like it's probably right.
It's a ritual.
Yeah, exactly. And it was religion. You know what I mean? So, and everyone's, "Oh, AM's dead. No one heard you." You know, and they make fun of us for being on your show. But like there's
dude, we got emails about it. We got picked up followers.
Yeah. No, there's a charm to it. It's a thing. Like I always, I don't think it'll ever die because someone will do like a ham setup and make, but
you know, there are other podcast studios out there trying to buy AM radio stations to make that work. So yeah, there's that.
I still have my dream in life, Caston. I don't know if we've told you this. There was a AM radio station for sale. It was one of those like high school ones that like have like a mile of a reach. And I wanted to do the WBR.
Runs out of the back of somebody's van.
Yeah.
No windows.
But I wanted
not pirate radio. It was a legit, like it was, and we actually got offered to take it over, because we helped them build out a studio there. It was like a secondary education school, and helped them build out the studio with like, you know, some soundproofing and some gear that we had. And they had an old AM transmitter that has like a mile, like you could for like 2 miles along one road.
Yeah,
you
could
hear
it. We do 38 states.
Yeah, no, it's two. It was not yet.
But I want it to be WBRD, where every day the bird is the word, and I want to play the Trashmen, Surfing Bird on repeat all day.
And Java.
I think
no, just
Surfing Bird, Java.
That's
Surfing Bird, Java.
Or it'd be the damn it, what was the droid in Empire and Hoth? Yeah, exactly. Just have
the probe droid.
Just have that play all day.
So back to what I originally hijacked the show with, I want to encourage people to get on iTunes, get on Google Store, get on YouTube, and rate the show. Say thank you. Tell these guys what they mean to you and what the show means to you.
Don't tell us what we mean to you.
Well, yeah, you might be surprised. But no, really, one of the things that I've given a lot of thought about is how do we create compelling radio versus compelling podcasting?
Mm-hmm.
And we can't get into the depth in radio. It's like you said, the jazz music comes on every 7 to 10 minutes.
There was a relationship with Drew and Mike that I had, and I don't know if it was just the era that I grew up in. Like that was like, it was part of my day every single day, and they gave them time to talk.
I would listen to you guys every morning. You want to get up at 4:30?
I'm not getting up at the one thing I never understood is how Mike from Drew and Mike could laugh at I'm just getting my 7-Eleven coffee down my pie hole, and this guy's just cracking up laughing at fart jokes, and I'm like. While my eyes are half shut.
Step one, you would have had to gone to bed at 8:00 the night before.
Right, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, when Foster was doing the 6 a.m. morning show, he was talking about getting up at 2:30 in the morning so that he could do his show prep, get into the studio, get everything set up. It's just, it's like taking the night shift.
Well, and that's the thing, having that relationship with Drew and Mike, I think people now have relationships with podcasters just because they're getting it when they want, how they want, right? So there's no, I had to, if I took the day off that day or if I wouldn't get to listen to them.
Yeah.
It was that easy. I had to be 6 and 10. I had to be in my car. Usually I was going to school or whatever I was doing, and I got to listen to them, otherwise forget it.
Millennials, get this bad rap for attention span. And I was listening to Jordan Peterson, I think it was, and he was talking about the people who listen to his podcast or watch his 2.5-hour videos. And he goes, attention span's not the problem. It's having compelling content.
Indeed.
You guys have compelling content. Present company exclusive.
Dude, I have short attention span theater. Dude, if I click a video or something like that, man, it's like all that. If you build a great website, they will come. If you make them wait 8 seconds, they will leave. Yeah. I mean, it's that simple. Like if I'm bored, before you even start getting rolling, see ya.
And if you got a 6-minute intro, forget it.
4.
Yeah, that's over then.
4.
Oh my God. When I got so much grief when Jim Allison was on talking gaming, apparently his wife listened live, and she's like texting him the whole time, going like, "Jesus effing Christ, how long is this intro? Like, do they expect people to listen to this shit?" Like, she's like just berating us. Like,
yes.
And I go, "Jim, we just added 30 seconds."
Exactly. That's another 15 seconds that has to get out.
Right.
Yeah, that's the rule.
So, I mean, what are you learning from AM radio other than like 7 seconds jazz music? You know, and then you get 12 seconds jazz music.
There's no screw ups. There's no stopping. There's no edits. I mean, you just got to go, and it's tough. There's pressure there. Part of it is
and you've got all the FCC rules and restrictions.
Well, yeah, not a problem for me because my mom makes me take off the hat.
Well, yeah,
I was worried about saying "suck," like I really was, because when we were talking about.
Yeah, my mother wants to talk to you about that.
Tell her to watch our TEDx talk.
It's going to wash your mouth out.
No, because that was our thing, suckless. And I thought about it. I go, no, I'm going to say it.
Yeah. No, that's an okay word.
Yeah. Well, because, we're referring to vacuum cleaners.
Yeah.
Or,
yes.
Whatever.
It's all context.
No, but like, the thing is too, is you're on payroll. It's not like just like it's not like you're paying for that time.
Right.
So, you probably have people listening. I don't know. Do you guys have to go through like that was good, that wasn't good? I think at this point, 23 years, do you pretty much have carte blanche in there?
No, we're no comment.
Guy Gordon didn't like that bit about podcasting.
The one thing I have to consider, because sometimes I do talk about certain products and things, and I have to give a second thought about, am I going to be stepping on a sponsor and getting a call about that? So,
right.
There's so much freedom in podcasting in so many ways. It's difficult at times to interact on the radio, but there's a charm about that real-time nature of interacting with people, because we do take call-ins. And that's my favorite part of the show, is when we actually get to interview or talk to somebody live. They've got a problem, and it may be really simple. It may be a head scratcher.
Right.
But there's something genuine and charming about that I really enjoy.
Well, I mean, we joke about just Google it, for crying out loud, but there's kind of like a connection when you can help them.
Oh, so 2 weeks ago, my mother called and her review was, that was a very informative show, but what's 5G again?
It's one more.
It's not her world.
It's one more than 4G, Ma.
Yeah. But what's 4G? I mean,
that's when 4 people get in a room.
That whole idea of people actually being involved in the real world, and they really didn't even know what 5G is. We're the connection to, number one, warn them about things that they don't hear enough about. And I remember Nuri talking about having
taught your grandparents about Tech Day.
Yeah, we're doing that.
Well, so I brought that up with there's another show here that does like security protection, that kind of stuff, and they started talking about shredding documents and all that stuff. And I was like, dude, because you don't even understand. Like when my wife's grandparents died, they died within about 3 months of each other, and cleaning out their house was a nightmare, because they literally kept every piece of paper that they had ever gotten from anything ever, including all of their medical stuff, which up until about 20 years ago was just your social security number, was everywhere. Like that was all that was there. So there were like literally just crates upon crates upon crates upon crates of this shit, where we rented an industrial shredder and burned the sucker out a day and a half in, and had to be like, hey, broke it. Sorry. Need another one.
Yeah. Amazing. I mean, for me, I took
because something they never thought about.
Because I'm like, oh, good, that folder of 2012 tech stuff I can actually finally toss.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, it sounds like it's time to just hide it under a pile of leaves and light the whole thing on fire.
Dude, you don't even know it. Dude, it would have triggered like a neighborhood fire if we. I mean, like, I cannot put into proper context exactly how much paperwork they had stored in their house. That was, dude. I mean, it hit a garage.
But I've got this problem. I'll save things for 20 years and then I throw it out and a week later I need it. Does anybody else have that problem?
Oh, dude, ask me for a Windows 95 install CD. I have one. Ask me for, DOS 6.0 installation diskettes. Ask me if I have anything that would read.
Mail-to-mail serial converter, right?
Yep, got him. Ask me if I have anything that'll read a 3.44 floppy at this point. Yeah, no, God, yeah. I mean, dude, that's me. Like, I'm a huge fan. It's the fear of, and Bob loves to talk about my ego and my hero complex and that kind of stuff. And I admit I do have one, but it's that.
No.
Well, dude, because it was Jeff who and he was like, hey, dude, I know this is a weird request, but my dad's computer died. You don't have a Windows 95 install CD, do you? And I'm like, give me a minute. Yeah. When you coming over?
I think I still have a DOS one. I still got my pile of crap.
In all these years, you haven't waved a magnet over it accidentally?
No.
Wow.
No, it's funny. He talks about I got the iOmega drive too.
Oh, yeah.
I got here's the thing. If you put it in a certain place and you never go into that place again and it just sits, I think yours is probably organized. Mine is just because I haven't thrown it away.
No, not really. No, dude. So I opened a box that I am convinced I'm convinced the box has moved with me from when the townhouse in DC that I had through every house that I've lived here, and I've never looked at it because when I opened up this box, dude, my alphanumeric SkyTel pager was in this box. My just shit that I haven't even touched or even thought about since I was living in DC. An old StarTAC, flip phone. And I'm like even I was like, why?
I got all my old phones. All my kids, those were toy phones.
Oh yeah,
my Nokia, my Flip.
Well, the nice.
If you ever have a problem, Ed Rudell, who's on our show, he can answer questions on all.
Exactly, yeah.
My Nokia
StarTAC phone will not connect to Verizon network.
Beeper only show number. Why?
Oh. But no, so, I mean, I do. I think it's cool. I mean, that's one of the, because you guys take a little bit different approach with that kind of stuff than we do. I mean, we're a little bit more, we're a lot more irreverent than you are.
No, say it ain't so.
No, but I mean, but that's the thing. I mean, that was our take and our approach when we decided that we wanted to do this. Is there was already enough, and not that you guys are this bad, but there were already enough. Today on this technology podcast,
Leo Laporte cornered that market.
Yeah, we're
going to review this 5-port,
this Linux distro,
Hunko shit 6.0. Yeah,
and Kim Commando's not the hottie she once was, so she's
nice.
Go by the wayside.
But yeah, so I mean, it is. I mean, and I do. Like if I happen to be out driving around when I know you guys are on, I'll throw it on and listen.
Wow.
So I mean, it's keep an eye on you
on the drive home on the drive home from JR. I was like, I want to listen to the second hour of them doing tech support, and it's Ben Shapiro, and I'm like, I want to see if anyone was listening to us on there that I know would be like cringing right now.
Nice.
I want to call them.
Well, we try to keep that down home effect because we know our audience, and you got to be real, but you also have to know your audience at the same time. And so a little thing that Cal Carson did, one of the co-hosts, was he brought Bob's daughter up to the microphone, and she brought it in, and she was really shy and kind of intimidated by all the studio stuff. But that it resonates with our audience. But when you saw the kindness that Cal exhibited with Bob's daughter, it was just an amazing thing to watch.
She nails "Welcome to the Internet Advisor Show," and she doesn't know her damn name. And I'm like, oh, come on, you're in kindergarten. You should nail this stuff.
All right, so switching gears, there is apparently a workshop that you were doing that we wanted to talk about.
Last time I was on, we were talking about edge computing and sensor-based networks and the way that smart cities and smart cars and smart hospitals and smart factories are building out. And I'm doing work with this incredible team from P2 Solutions Group. Well, what's evolved out of that is we saw a real need for developing a program for securing IoT. And one of the things that I've been saying over and over and over, almost a mantra, is that if we try to apply the same security and support models to IoT that we did to IT, we're going to fail catastrophically.
Isn't securing IoT, isn't that like an oxymoron at this point in the game?
Well, it can be, but the difficulty is that there's all this complexity around it.
The barn door is open, the horse is out, but it hasn't found the gate through the fence yet.
I'm going to lock the door. The horse is out.
Well, it's like, what are you going to do with it? Yeah, you can assemble them and do nasty things and create DDoS attacks, but the really sophisticated kind of things, the hackers haven't quite gotten to that point to shut down a massive number of factories or a hospital. We've seen incidents of that and occurrences. The Saudi refinery got shut down. A manufacturing plant in Germany got totally shut down by malware. And then, you had a couple of outbreaks where, not intentionally, but ransomware impacted some really expensive and really important medical devices over in Europe, didn't spread to the United States. So we are behind the 8 ball. So what we've done is we've created a half-day workshop that we're going to be going around. I'm going to be going to about 20 cities this year, conducting a half-day workshop. The morning's going to be medical devices. The afternoon's going to be industrial controls.
Cool.
Internet of industrial things, building automation, those kinds of things. Because there are step-by-steps and a lot of resources that are out there. I mean, Mayo Clinic's done 8 years of securing medical devices.
I can't hear that without going airplane. Give me Ham on 5, hold the Mayo.
There you go.
Yeah.
The letter that one guy wrote, there's a book, and he's like, wrote like a really polite dissertation. I'm like, it's really cool that you guys have a clinic dedicated to the mayonnaise. I just.
Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah.
No, so we're taking the best practices for people who've already been, or organizations that have already been down this path. We're packaging it up with the resources, the methodologies, and the construct of a workshop with forms and worksheets and team building exercises, so that we can either take in one of these metropolitan-based many people from different organizations, but a slight spin on that is going into a hospital or into an industrial complex or a utility and facilitating, bringing them through the steps to make sure that they've checked all the boxes for securing IoT. Whether that's medical devices or industrial or utilities, smart grid, smart network. And so the idea is that we can accelerate the development of a comprehensive cybersecurity program specific to IoT in just a couple of weeks, instead of the 6 months of all the organizational things and defining the structures of why IoT is different, why you support it differently. Because if you've got a clinical engineer or a plant engineer who's got to spend 30 minutes in order just to get a device on the network because they've got to call the help desk,
right,
got to call the network team,
got to provision this, got to do, yeah.
Well, is it going to get to the point with IoT that there's going to be either a standard or a compliance that they need to companies need to comply to? Because right now it's wild, wild west.
You know what?
Early days of the internet.
Yeah. Come to find out.
Oh, don't do that to me. I'm right here.
No, the NIST has done a lot of good work, particularly in the area of medical devices. An organization called MITRE, M-I-T-R-E, has IETF even has a guide on the important factors. These organizations have done a lot of really good work. A lot of it is ethereal and conceptual, not real world. We're trying to bring that real world experience that other organizations have put, and then our expertise in going through this with organizations to put down something that's efficient and economical. And a buddy of mine who did an IoT security deployment of over 1 million devices says, yeah, I looked at the NIST requirements, and if we did that in our organization, it would only cost us $8 billion.
Billion?
Yeah, he ran the numbers. He's a numbers guy. He used to work for Google and build data centers.
But what's then he had to look at what's the penalty for not doing it, and if it's less than $8 billion, that's the route they were going.
Well, yeah, but there aren't a lot of penalties for this. It's really looking at the differences in how IoT devices are different than IT devices. As an example, IoT devices are typically not manned, or they may be in remote areas. That idea of being able to patch 1,000 devices in an oil pipeline, it ain't going to happen, because if one of the sensors goes down for a couple of minutes, they got to shut down the whole pipeline.
Right.
That's why you have unpatched devices. in industrial controls. That's why you have all of these sensors that are running universities and hospitals that haven't been updated.
What about the new consumer alliance that was just announced, the Connected Home over IP, Apple, Amazon, Google, Zigbee?
Gee, I wish I knew about home. I am laser focused.
They actually have one called Chips?
Chip, yeah. Well, they're not calling it a chip, but everybody else is calling it
Bring me
chip.
Punch and John.
I'm glad Zigbee still exists because I was working.
Zigbee is like Samsung and IKEA.
Well, I was working with it like in 04.
Yeah.
And I thought it died, and then Bluetooth became a standard. And then, I'm happy to hear that because I used to work in like the HomePlug Alliance.
Yeah.
Like back in that was 04. Oh my God.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I think Kroger's doing some things with Zigbee throughout all their stores. That may be old information, but
no.
Is that their shopping thing where you go pick up the scanner, or is that something?
These are old brain cells.
I've already cleared cache. Sorry. Yeah. All right. Hey, where do people find out more about the seminar and like sign up for it, or is it out yet? Is it?
Yep. I'm doing one in Cleveland. We did our first one on medical devices in San Francisco. It was very well received back at the end of last year.
You didn't step any poop on the street, did you?
No comment.
Okay.
My
He
daughter lives
totally
there, so
did.
I can't say bad
Well,
things
she
about
totally
San
does every day.
Francisco.
Steps and poop.
No, find me on LinkedIn, Caston Thomas. Sounds like it's spelled or spelled like it sounds. And you can also go to P2SG, P2solutionsgroup.com and find out more and click through there, fill out a form. You can get to me.
Awesome.
Internet Advisors on 6 o'clock on Saturdays on WJR 760.
7, as long as the Lions and the Spartans aren't playing football or basketball. We're generally on live and in color.
Nice.
So,
not really
fun.
because it's AM, so you're not in HD yet.
You know what? Everybody listens to IT in the D. Just tell your parents to listen.
There you go.
We got some guys that qualify. We got an older crowd that comes around.
Yeah, right.
So Lucky 13, it's always a joy to be here with you.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for coming out again, man. I appreciate it. It's always a good chat.
Yeah, good seeing you, Caston. As always, hey, we're going to wrap things up for episode 330 of the IT and the D Show. We'd like to thank Caston Thomas for spending time with us, host of the Internet Advisor Show and security consultant extraordinaire. On behalf of Bob, Dave, and Randy, do us all the favor. Get your drink up drinks, get your phone numbers. You don't got to go home. You just got to get the hell out of here. See you next week. Drive careful. Beat it.
See you guys.
The emergency destruct system is now activated.